people, how's it going? Welcome back to Lily White Lane. Tottenham 1, Fulham 0, and the main takeaway from that ballfest of a game is that Harry Kane is world class. Once again, Harry Kane has stepped up when no one else would in the team and gave us a huge 3 points, and it still grinds my gears in how this guy is criminally underrated and disrespected by opposition fans. Constantly seeing headlines like Harry Kane's overrated, Harry Kane isn't that good, blah blah blah. It's just bollocks. It really is rubbish. This guy is a world-class player, and the only reason he isn't scoring 40 to 50 goals this season is because he doesn't have brilliant service. If this guy has brilliant service as well, he'd be banging in more goals than Erling Haaland. People go, oh, Haaland's better than Kane. Let Kane get service from the likes of Bernardo Silva, and especially in the fullback positions, the likes of João Cancelo, Kyle Walker, and he'd be banging 40 to 50 goals a season. He's got, 17 goals in the Premier League with service from Emerson Royal, with service from a 34-year-old ageing Perisic, service from Sessegnon, Dyer pinging up long balls. You look at most of his goals this season, none are put on a plate for him, none are tap-ins, and a lot of people go, oh, he's a tap-in merchant, blah, blah, blah. He really isn't. You can't even insult him with that, even though I think that insult's rubbish because you have to be in the right place at the right time. You look at every single one of his goals, and they're created by him. They're created by his quality when no one else would step up. It's a poor pass from Son. Harry Kane takes it past 2 players yesterday, and against like 5 players in front of him, slots it straight into the bottom right-hand corner. And that goal was that bit of quality that separated us from yesterday and gave us the 3 points. Let's not beat around the bush. There's still serious issues at Spurs. Yes, we still could get Champions League with 3 points off top 4, but don't let that take your mind off the issues. And I was glad that the fans didn't. Our away fans yesterday were superb. Levy out and Enoch out being sung throughout the entirety of the game and post-game. It was bloody great to see. It was bloody great to see. It's the first time that I think a majority of fan base, or a majority of the fan base, I should say, do agree on Daniel Levy and Enoch and have the same stance on it. And it really is good to see. It really is good to see that a lot of people are waking up to the problem at this club. And don't let yesterday's win distract you, because was it a brilliant performance? No. Fulham were very poor. I was very, very surprised by that. Yes, I thought we sat in quite well in that second half, but I thought if Fulham played like they did against Chelsea, we would have lost that game. But the 3 points, we take that 3 points, and the reason we get that 3 points is Harry Kane. The amount of games this season Harry Kane has got us out of trouble. The list just goes on. And yesterday's another one. It's a brilliant finish from him. That moment of quality separates us. Let's not beat around the bush. There's still massive issues at this club, but at least we can be chuffed about a win. We can be chuffed about a Tottenham win after a few weeks of pure pain, if you are a Spurs fan. But as I was saying, Harry Kane, criminally underrated by other fans, and it's so frustrating to see headlines saying that he's overrated, you know. And the first thing people go is trophies. We're not talking about accolades, we're talking about the quality of the player. And Harry Kane is getting service from Emerson Royal and Sessegnon and banging in stupid amount of goals every single season. He's the only guy who's been able to slightly keep up with Haaland this season. And look at the service he's getting. He's creating the service for himself. He's dropping deep, playing balls and then finishing them off. You know, without Harry Kane, we would be a mid-table club. And it's so frustrating to see people go, oh, blah, 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 he hasn't won anything. Look at what he's got around him. Loyalty isn't admired in football right now. He's loyal to Tottenham. He's getting rubbish service. And people knock his goals and how many he's scored. And the fact that he's Tottenham's joint all-time top goal scorer and is going to break Alan Shearer's record most likely, because he hasn't won a few trophies. We're talking about the player. We're not talking about accolades. We're not. And I know that for a lot of people is legendary status, and I understand that. But he is a world-class football player. If he went to Chelsea and Manchester City, he'd be winning trophies. And this is my argument to people who go, oh, you know, you have to win trophies to be a world-class player. Okay. Is Zinchenko a better overall player than Harry Kane? I know he's a completely different, but actually that's a bad, what do you call it? That's a bad thing. It's a bad comparison. Let's say this. Is Diego Costa overall a better player than Harry Kane because he won a Premier League or a couple of Premier Leagues and because he won an FA Cup? Is he better than Harry Kane because he's done that? No. I think most people would agree no. So why does Harry Kane have to necessarily have accolades to be considered a world-class player? He's so good, he proves it week in, week out, and I still think he's criminally underrated. And like I say, last night's game, Harry Kane did get us out of trouble. It was very, very, very boring, to be blunt. It was shit. It was a rubbish game if you were a neutral fan. I think most neutral fans would have turned off midway through that game because nothing was happening. Fulham, I was really surprised. Really surprised. They had a couple of chances in that first half. Mitrovic had a header. Pereira had a little shot. Paulinho controlled the ball quite well. But after that 30 minutes, the whole of the second half, they just did nothing really to break us down. Couple good performances in there. Obviously, Harry Kane, the main one. But apart from him, I actually thought Emerson was decent. We definitely need a new right back. Don't let last night's performance take your mind off that. And we'll get to new right backs in a minute when we talk about the daily transfer news. But I thought Emerson put in a good performance, and I think it's only right to not hold agendas when someone does put in a decent performance. And I think Emerson did last night. I thought Romero was very, very solid, although he was on a booking. Very, very solid at the back. And yeah, that just about wraps up the match review. Moving on to transfers. Now, it's frustrating. It really is frustrating when you're seeing everyone around you make transfers. Chelsea buying everyone. Balaschil, Mudryk, players looking good. Arsenal acquiring Kiwor, the new Polish defender, Leandro Trossard. Then you go ahead and look at Man United. Weghorst coming in, who Man United fans are still moaning about their transfers, but it's still a good transfer. You look at all the top teams signing players, and Tottenham have done nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I think the one positive, if we don't sign anyone, is the amount of criticism Daniel Levy and ENIC would get. I don't want that. I'd love them to get criticism, and they still should, even if we do sign a couple of players, because they are the main issue. They don't go to the next level and that next step to let Tottenham really achieve. But if you know what I'm trying to say, I don't want that. As a Spurs fan, I want to see us succeed, I want to see us do well, and I want to see us win. I do. And look, I really, really hope we do sign a couple of players. Two players currently being linked with Tottenham are Pedro Porro, which we've known about for a long time. Tottenham, I think this one's going to go down to the last couple of days. Do I think we'll sign him? Probably not. I think Levy's far too tight and insists, which is so frustrating, because he could be a season-changing player. And we're not going to sign him because of an extra $6 million to the deal. Just pay the release clause. Fucking hell, Levy. It's an extra $10 million for a season-changing game when you're making $900 million out of the club, and you said in the documentary you'd invest every penny that comes out of the club back into it. You lying hypocrite. See, I'm getting myself in all. This is meant to be a nice match review, talking about what was a great win last night at Craven Cottage for the confidence in the team. Puts us back in the top 4 race. I'm meant to be talking about transfers, and I'm getting myself annoyed about Levy again. I do apologise, but it's frustrating with Porro. I expect that one to go down to the last couple of days. A new one today, Danjuma. Fabrizio Romano said, here we go for Danjuma to Everton. And in the final moments, as soon as he was, Danjuma set to fly to England and London on the weekend, Spurs are looking to hijack the deal. This could be an interesting one. I'd only take Danjuma if it means we get a defensive player. Danjuma by himself is not good enough, because the defence, the right back position, the left back position, and 2 of those centre back positions are our main weakness. Although they were all right last night, they are our main weakness. So I definitely think we do need a right wing back or a centre back in January. But Danjuma, considering Son's form this season, I'd take him. I think he's been very good at Villarreal. I think he's a very versatile player. I'm surprised that Villa aren't going in for him. I really expected Emery to go in for him. He's a player that Emery knows so well and has worked really well with at Aston Villa. Yeah, it's only Everton. But Romano said, weird noises. Romano said, here we go for Danjuma. Bloody, that's fucking annoying. Is that a bird? Or like some silly little kid? Anyway, mine's wandering off. But yeah, it is a kid. Now I feel bad, you see, because I just went, oh, what is that? Blah, blah, blah. Just a little kid crying. Anyway, moving on. Danjuma, I thought he'd go to Villa. I thought he'd be a really good player under Unai Emery. Everton, here we go. As soon as Romano says those words, do you think the deals are done? And he might have got this one slightly wrong. He's flying to London. All I'd say about this one is watch this space, whether Tottenham do it or not. Danjuma and Pedro Porro are the two names that are being linked with us towards the end of the transfer window. Let's see if we can bring them in. Thank you for watching this match review / transfer news and Tuesday episode of Tottenham Hotspur News. Take care of yourselves, all the best, God bless, and as always, come on you Spurs, in Conte we trust. Enoch and Levy out.